Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to a little kind of, I guess, channel update to an extent, but holy crap, you guys know what I'm making a video of, obviously, because of the title in the thumbnail, but holy shit. We finally got roster sharing coming in NHL 22, but it's not coming till December, but obviously you could start melting on your roster builds right as the game launches, so I'm really excited that you guys are finally going to be able to experience my roster builds. Like, I'm not going to have to just use them on my own, or you're not going to actually have to go in and build it yourself. Because if you're on, like, probably on the Xbox, you'll be able to download it for sure, I would assume. But if you're on PlayStation, I'm not assuming you're going to be able to download it. But roster sharing's finally in NHL games, and you're going to actually get to experience what I've been experiencing for the last few years. So, like, if you guys have not followed my channel, if you're new around here, you would not know that I've been making roster builds, like throwback roster builds, the last few years. Back in NHL 19, I made a 1999 roster build. NHL 20, I made a 1994 one. NHL 21, I made a 2003 one. And for NHL 22, I have planned a 2007 roster build and a 1997 roster build planned. So I will be able to make a full-on roster build and be able to upload it to the community tab, and you guys will be able to download it. And yeah, hopefully they make it so it's like cross-platform. I don't know if they will for sure, but if you guys are on PlayStation, there's a good chance you might not be able to download it, I would assume. If you're on Xbox, though, I think you guys should be able to. But I am very excited to see you guys use my roster builds, because this is like obviously like a huge addition to NHL. But also at the same time, it's a huge addition to my channel in a sense, because it will help me grow a lot. Because there's a lot of content creators I know, like Tugi, for example, maybe even Tactics, and then there's like No Sleeves and stuff like that. Like, there's tons of people that might want to use my rosters, and to just like have like in a community using my builds and all that stuff, and using them for their own franchise modes. It would be fucking like phenomenal. Like, excuse my language, but holy crap, I'm really excited. And like, also you could probably use this type of roster build for something like in I would assume you could use it for BioPro. I don't know how it works in BioPro because I've never tried my throwback rosters in a BioPro setting, but it would be cool if you guys could use them in BioPro as well and whatnot. But I am so excited. Like, you can see here, I'm just scrolling through my roster build from my 2003 one. Like, I'll be able to make like players like younger Alex Ovechkin, for example, being in a draft class, and players like Andrew Raycroft being in a franchise mode. Like, you don't get this type of thing in a normal EA game without roster sharing. And roster sharing, like I said, has been something I've been wanting in the game for quite a while. Like, way back when I made my 1998-99 roster build, EA actually shared that video, and I was thinking roster sharing was going to be a thing eventually soon, but it took a few years, obviously, for them to actually get it in the game, and I'm finally happy that they're actually announcing it and that it will be in the game. Now, it's kind of funny because, like, after I like watched the live stream, like, well, the premiere on YouTube and all that sort of thing, I got like a lot of notifications from like people liking my tweets and stuff like that. And then randomly out of the blue, Clappy messaged me with just a smiley face. So thank you, Clappy, into the EA team for finally adding this in. Obviously, I know Tugi's been pushing it for a long time, and I'm glad Tugi's like that stubborn guy that he is, because we finally got it in, and I am just so excited to see what happens this year, because, man, like, this NHL game is going to be the best NHL game probably since 14, or the one that most people are going to be talking about, because of the fact we haven't had a feature like this added to the game, like a brand new feature like this, I would say, since almost like GM Connected was added back on old gen, because like it's just a brand new feature, really, because it's never been in an NHL game before other than 2K games. Like, it's just going to be so awesome to see you guys using my 07 build. Like, that's definitely going to happen for sure. I do have the 97 build planned as well, but I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through my 07 build. I hope I could get that 07 build out on, like, day one of roster sharing being in the game, because I really want to get as much downloads as possible, as much, people, like, viewing it and liking it and all that stuff. Like, I'm not one to really, like, care about the numbers, but I feel like literally this might be one of the best years for me in my channel that I've had in the entire 5 years I've made YouTube content. So, but yeah, it's just gonna be really, really awesome. And like, just a little bit of a heads up in case you aren't familiar with my roster builds. For roster builds that take place back in like 1997, for example, when there's only like 26 NHL teams, basically what I do for the extra teams that are not in the game. So the 6 extra teams are comprised of European teams, and they're basically players that played in Europe during that year. So it's kind of a little bit of a custom league to an extent because of the fact that we can't customize how much teams play in a franchise mode. But if they eventually add that in the future, that would be really nice. But if not, I always will have like kind of like prospect teams and stuff like that being added to the franchise mode as well, just as filler teams pretty much. But yeah, it makes it for an interesting experience. So just very excited for you guys to get your hands on this if you're on Xbox for sure. And if you're on PlayStation, hopefully there's people that do this type of thing on PlayStation too, because I would love to collaborate with like a bunch of people that make rosters and just make one giant like roster communion of people, like because like basically like what they do on like Operation Sports, like literally Tugi's like the type of person for like current rosters and stuff like that, like him, probably Jay Fresh, those type of guys. There's like people that will be really good for prospect builds, maybe people even building KHL teams, people building throwback builds like me from different years. There's going to be so much collaboration and so much creativity going into the NHL community this year. And if EA shares all these type of community ideas that they do on their Twitter page and stuff like that, just to help out the like people grow and whatnot, it's going to be a really great year for content this year, I would assume. Like who's gonna like you guys are gonna be able to experience some nostalgic feelings of players that you haven't heard of in like such long times. Like for example, like right here, let's just say David Abisher. You're gonna think about the 2001 Colorado Avalanche maybe automatically or something like that, or a team you grew up watching, or maybe you're gonna even think about David Abisher when he was a part of the Montreal Canadiens. Like, oh man, I could literally talk about this for a long time, but obviously I don't have all the time in the world just to talk about this. But you guys get to probably tell my voice. Like if I would have done like a live reaction video to the actual premiere, you guys would have seen how excited I was when it was announced. Like I literally, like I said, like on Twitter before I was watching that premiere, I was like, if I have a heart attack watching this, just carry on my legacy, because literally I am so pumped for this, and I hope you guys are too. So anyways, just a little bit of a rambling video for a couple minutes, but I really wanted to put something out because this like roster sharing has been a big part of what I've wanted for this channel for a long time, and I expect that it's going to help bring me a lot of growth here on YouTube, and hopefully a lot of it to other people too, and hopefully a lot of people get to experience my roster builds regardless of what console you're on and all that sort of thing. So anyways, let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.